Welcome to let us share something on innovation and use that as a way for ambidexterity achievement in your organization, in our organizations and businesses. And so today lessons would be today's sharing would be on this perspective. If you look careful across this the disciplines of the innovation, the research on innovation, and without getting into the detail, at least you can find 4 streams of the research effort people has done in innovation. And I forget that the lessons, the sharing today is bringing about to help you help us realize about the importance of developing this ambidexterity and through means of innovation. For instance, and there are other types of competencies like organizational change organizations, developments, and things like that. All these competencies, and use it for competitive strategy if you are able to exploit for competitive advantages or value innovations or differentiations or whatever. And so that is a competitive strategy. For the innovations, you can see that first of all, we are focusing on this typologies of innovation. So especially in terms of where these innovations located, and they could be technological innovations, administrative wise, strategic perspective of the innovations, the way we conceptualize our way of competing and winning and in the markets and processes and product innovations, all these typological types of issue. And then we are focusing, another streams is focusing on how we're going to get that innovations accomplished, the process involved in the innovation. So innovations processes, a lot of innovation processes, right? In the literature. And the other thing, the streams number 3 is about these, what are the factors that drive the innovation? And so we're talking about, structural issue, processes issue, people issue, the nature of personalities and how they involve in knowledge exchanges, and they equip the organizations with proper administrative structures, proper knowledge sharing structures, proper interactions, and even cultures and things like that. And then the next thing is that what we're gonna what benefits can we get from innovation? So we're talking about all this utility. So performance, new improvements in the market productivities and things like that. So if we can integrate all these 4 streams of innovations, then we at least can get a holistic and better pictures on what innovation, what can we do with innovations, and in which perspective or innovations, competencies that we need to develop, how we can exploit it, and the supporting it, and so on, and evolutionary perspective of it, the technology mapping, the innovation mapping, things like that. So the more holistics we can get, the better we can develop this innovation. The purpose of innovation, it's a process of generating all these ideas and then ensure that the market accepts it. And we or markets, it could be internal markets, it could be external market. Internal markets, of course, we use it for increasing our efficiency, increasing our productivity, and allowing us to gain some competitive advantage through cost or ability to differentiate our product and services. But then at the end of the work is that we still need to demonstrate some market-driven oriented types of effectiveness. How effective is our innovation in the market-wise? So we really have to think carefully. Although innovations can, as I have just typologically illustrated, it really across different domains. But then pragmatically, innovation is a process of taking the creative ideas all the way to the market, right? Being in innovative organizations, the innovations it's appearing in corporate missions and visions and core capability list. That is very important. If we can have that innovations cultures, innovation values, and innovation principles, innovations, behaviors, culture, right? Collective understanding and behavior, the programmings of our mind, we call it behaviors into, you call it cultures into this culture, organizational culture, that would really boost up the trust and the capability of the organization in innovation. Beta's operational performance, yes, definitely, because once we have this innovative idea, we are better able to we have a creative practices and procedures, right? And so that we can better improve our performance and things like that. Securing worldwide competitiveness as a result of our ability to integrate all various perspectives of innovation and to bring about some competitive advantages and things like that. Enhance the ability to offer value choices to our customers. Commercializations of inventions, as I have already explained, that you need to reach out to the market and get the acceptance of the market, and adopting the innovations outcomes to drive organizational performance, create differentiated services as I've just explained, different tier directions in innovation, and so on and so forth. So if we can develop all these 4 streams, right? The type typological issue, the process issue, the determinants, antecedents, the factors that drive innovation, plus the utility, the outcome perspective, then we can create an innovations organization. And we know that in the business, we have a value chain from all the way from raw material suppliers to internal operations and and plus the internal logistics all the way to the final stage of logistics to the customers, and of course you can continue, and this is called value chain. And if we looking at this value change perspective, that the activities that provides the value along the way, eventually reaching to the customers, and they are willing to pay the price for it at the cost of we spend on the change or activity. Then if we look into these similar things in innovation, we can also conceptualize a chain, right? A chain from resources that we need to help us do the innovation. And then use that coordinating all these resources. So we must have capability to coordinate all these resources. We must have the competencies to coordinate these resources. So the competency of innovation is not the end product. Is the ability to even coordinate the resources. That is one part of the competency, right? And then slowly we move that competency into an organized, systematic, value-oriented manner, and that becomes a competitive strategy. So the resources getting into idea generation, and then idea. So a lot of ideas popping up, and we got to do this. We got to have these features. We got to have this value proposition. We got to have this unique resource and materials, and it's very light, and so on and so forth. And so we combine all these issues and convert it into real product and services, and then once we have that, we call it idea conversion. And so we move from resource to idea generations to idea conversion, and then slowly we need to diffuse it, because especially when we talk about the technology innovation, something it's very, especially disruptive in a sense, it's very important that we sometimes we need to exploit this theory of perceived attributes that allow people to know that even though this is innovative ideas and services and product that we are offering, but it is very much compatible to some things that we familiar or easily get competency developed, and it's very simple. It's not complicated, and you can try it on it, triabilities, and you can observe it, and so they can get diffused faster. And the more we get diffused, the more innovations turns into the impact. So innovation competency is not only about a product; it's really about resource coordination, utilization, exploitations, and organizing it, and converting it, and also diffusing. Diffusion is also very important. And then finally, of course, then we achieve certain purpose and performance. And not only we stop there, we still have the continuous learning, because the world is uncertain. We have uncertain words, we have turbulent words, we have all these disruptive situations, we have all these ambiguities, and we have all this environment, and therefore we need to continuous feedback to this of this process. So we deal with single loop learning, and we have double loop learning, looking and challenging our assumption, and then we have the experiential learning based on what we learn from the experiences, and then we turn it into some theoretical extractions, and then we slowly concrete experience it, and then things like that. And also along these processes, we because today's on digitized digital society of availabilities of a lot of sensors and IoT, Internet of Things that we know. I bought, for example, Xiaomi fans or whatever. Then there are a lot. I mean, you can basically connect it to the internet, and the other side, the other factories, manufacturers will obtain their data and provide. So we have data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. Also, it's a very intimate cycle. And so this value chain, right? And then depends on the typologically, this is the process, and depends on the values, the innovation streams of research I have just explained. Not only the process, the one I just explained is just the value perspective, the value process, but then there are a lot of supporting enabling or the directional guidance, like where you exactly want to innovate. Are you going to innovate on product and services? Are you going to innovate on a production side? Are you going to innovate on a resource innovation side? Or are you going to innovate on a demand side? And all these innovation streams of and which I have just explained, the typological situation will then provide the direction to guide the process of these streams of the innovation. And then we also need the determinants, right? The antecedents, right? And which is the innovation infrastructures. Do we have this infrastructure? Do we have the policy? Do we have the the system? Do we have the culture? Do we have the HRM, human resource management, fitting into these requirements? And then do we have the policy strategies and objective, vision, missions? And then only when we supporting it and bring it and directionally and process-wide, then we can deliver the utility. So all these four streams of the innovations, really nothing is just innovations model, right? Innovation business model, innovations schematic architectures. And so it's very important that we really need to utilize this innovation to help our organizations turning into innovations organization. Even the strategic management perspective also is about also need to be can be turned into innovations-driven strategic management, right? Strategic management involve how we're going to deal with our supply side resource positioning, how we're going to position our resources, and how we're going to positions our value propositions and curve, and how we're going to position our market position, and things like that. And along this, each of the processes, what we're gonna do with it, what kind of innovations that we need in order to have better differentiation, better cost advantages, or a hybrid of it, or Brownian strategy, right? Or lock-in the effect with the customers and our business ecosystem stakeholders, or how we gonna deal with some strategic, offensive and defensive capability and things like that. So along each of the strategic management's process, it's also involved with a lot of innovation. So for instance, in the supply sides, we can have technological, disruptive, innovation, discontinuous innovations, incremental innovation, and so on and so forth, until all the way to product market side, we can have service innovation, product life cycle, management, each of the, where are we in, and is we be more operational focus because our industries are a little bit more mature, or should we renew and transform our industry so that we get a new product life cycle, right? And demand management, innovation, how we gonna get our customers to experience the touch, each of the touch point, omni channels, right? It's part of the innovations. So it is all, and the way to reach out to the market, and even the income, the financial, the cash flows management can also be innovation. So it is. So the entire situation is about innovation. So even at the resources side, how are we going to acquire the resources? How are we going to exploit the resources? How are we going to organize the resources? How are we going to orchestrate the resources, like using the concepts of shared economy, or using the concepts of the business ecosystems? The entire resource management is different. And so, I mean, the supply side, the bargaining power, the suppliers are totally different. So we are talking about transformation, not just a simple incremental, Michael Porter's 5-force analysis. We are now transforming it. I mean, the shape of the Michael Porter analysis is still the same, but the concept involved with this is totally different, because we are into innovation. So we therefore, I have given to share with you that when we talk about innovations, competencies, really we have to build the competencies along each of the process, right? From this beginning all the way to the end, to the market, ideations all the way to the market. And if we can look carefully into, let's say we're breaking it down to different perspectives. Right, different perspective. For example, in digitizations and artificial intelligence process perspective, we can have we need innovation in terms of in the domain of data. We need innovations competency in the domain of information. We need information competency in the domain of knowledge and wisdom, which is very important if we want to otherwise we will not be able to expand our market. So wisdom is very important. Expansions, application, right? Then something can become our core, right? And that some things that we can easily expand our revenue streams, right? And not only the stream. I mean the width of the streams, right? Which is the market share. And if you look into this from another angle, not from this data-driven angle, but from this creative, appreciative inquiry angle, then we need innovations competency. We need competency in the domain of discovery. And then moving on to the dream. Once we discover that there are certain gaps, we need to dream about it, and then we need to design based on our dream to realize our dream, and then eventually to reach up to the destiny. So the 4D of appreciative inquiry, also each along the processes of discovery to design, to dream and to design and to destiny, all needs to be to have that competency. Only the competencies that are integrated, that we can make use of it, right, in a systematic manner, because the weakness of the chain is the weakness of the entire situation. Okay, and so this is something that people always ignore. They always, when we talk about innovations, okay, show me the product. No, it is not about the product. You can't have the product without the process, and you can't have the process without the step. And things like that. So if you look into another perspective, we call organizational change perspective, that you need to unfreeze, you need to move, and you need to refreeze. So your competency, the innovations, first of all, need to start from unfreeze your paradigm, unfreeze your assumption, For example, if you unfreeze, in the past, we need to innovations to reach out to the customers on time, and then we build a lot of inventory, and suddenly people tell and come up with another concept called just-in-time lean management, and all the inventory disappear. And so this is called unfreezing your paradigmatic view so that you can move with your innovation. Okay, and move itself is a competency. Right? Where are you? How fast you're gonna move? How wide you're gonna move? And in which direction you're gonna move? And how deep you're gonna move? Right? Things like that. And again, I have already demonstrated from another perspective, which is resources processing perspective. So we have resource, idea generation, idea conversion, diffusions, and performance. And so you can see that understanding and building innovations competencies really depends on different perspective. Your perspective of digitization from data, information, knowledge, and wisdom, and the core competencies concept, from the perspective of appreciative inquiry, the 4D, discovery, design, dream, design, and destiny, and from the perspective of the change management, so unfreezing, move, and refreeze, and from the perspective of the process to change activities of these typical innovation processes. So change is very important. If we can change, we can enable competencies realization. So, but when you want to change organizations, change, especially the change towards completely rearranging your competencies of your organizations and businesses, that really is it's not a straightforward manner. And because every time we want to change from the current state to the final state, we know that there is a process called unfreeze your paradigms to move to the next stage and really move a lot of things and change a lot of things, and then you refreeze it. And if you want to move and change, you really need to unfreeze, because otherwise people will not buy it. But during that process of unfreeze, move, and change, there is this driving forces and this constraining, restraining forces. Somebody is resisting it, somebody is supporting it, and all these things you have to really manage. All these environmentals, and either it could be internal forces, external forces, right? The driving forces are those are seeking change, and those are maintaining status quo. And within this, the entire process and the driving forces impacting on the processes of unfreeze, change, and refreezing, and also the restraining forces, or along these dynamics, where we deal with a lot of theoretical issues that we can incorporate to make this competency develop, and so realize our competitive strategy. Because without the competency, we cannot realize our strategy, because there is nothing that we can use to compete. So competitive strategy, show me your capability. Don't just show me your money. Right, you got to show me the capability, and if you don't have a capability, how are you gonna compete? So competency-based view of strategy, of competitive strategies, it's all about. So the linkage between competence and competitive strategies is just two sides of the same coin. And so along this process, we have a lot of other theoretical issues, and every one of you can look into literature review and stress upon it, especially in the research area. So for instance, in motivation area, in group dynamics area, in leadership area, in organizational culture, in organizational learning, in learning organizations, all this theoretical platform could be used to help you realize this organizational change. And the next steps, we therefore, once you build up all this innovation, why we do so? Because we not only want to build the innovations organization, but then but innovation, companies could be innovative, but it could take a long time, or it could only focus on certain things. But so another things that we have to be also very, very cautious upon, especially in today's environment of uncertain environments and ambiguous environments, and all this environment, is that we need organizational ambidexterity. We need to be able to exploit all this innovation. Otherwise, nothing will happen. And we need to not only exploit this innovation, we need to continuously, import some energies into that. Otherwise, like the things that we have learned before in thermodynamics, the entropies, we were slowly, progressively and gradually and get disorganized, become disorders, and we become chaos. The whole world becomes chaos, and organizations get chaos as time goes by. So we need to continuously put in additional orderliness, right? The energies to is sort of the phenomena of that negentropy, right? And so this is what we mean by organizational as ambidexterity. It's no difference between thermodynamics and this business world or social world. So one of the most important organizational competency, really, it's about as I have told you, is about organizational ambidexterity. That is our ability to develop explorative and exploitative capabilities of our organization using innovation, for instance, right? So organizational ambidexterity, we must really have these two orientations, so that we have to unfreeze. Right? To unfreeze means to embrace new orientations, and one of the orientation is called exploration orientation. Another one is called exploitation orientation, and this is very important because it doesn't jump into action. Because sometimes when we try to do some ambidexterity, we suddenly jumps into action. I see a lot of assignments and research by my students on this organization ambidexterity. When we ask them to talk about it, they say, "Well, okay, you told me that he's going to exploit. You told me he's going to exploit, and so I, just jump straight away to explore and exploit." And it doesn't work because your mindset is still being constrained within the single loop learning that you have never getting out from your status quo. And your worldview is still the same. So really, fundamentally, we can't really implement organizational ambidexterity without borrowing the Lewin's change model, the unfreezing, move and refreeze, and that unfreezing is very, very, very important. Inspirations, orientation, slow down your process, looking into what can be your orientation in a new way. That it's very important. So, exploration, orientation, design new innovative project processes and procedures, learning new knowledge and search for alternative solutions, creativity, innovation, experimentation, discovery, explorations of new alternative resource leveragings. All these are just an entering, a process to allow you to slowly discover your orientation, a new orientation. Okay, and through experimentations, you can find out something new is happening, right? But you got to be very quick in experimentation. And so we call lean startup, for instance. So, like you can have a very quick hypothetical. We learn from lean startup, and we can have a very quick hypothetical card, and also we can put in our pocket the hypothetical card or solutions card, and then we achieve something, and we experiment on it through our observations, through our testing, to our business design, and then slowly we can adjust our orientations. That people really don't look at this way, people look at another way, or customers are preferring that way, and things like that. Or maybe we can dream and discover, right? And through this appreciative inquiry. And again, the similar thing is that there are a lot of processes and procedures that we can also install to slowly discover new orientations in exploration. So control improvement through statistical process control, you can identify a lot of things, why this process is able to be within the control, and another process is not able to within control, and why suddenly that we are crossing over the upper boundaries and lower bound system. And was that because of the maintenance issue? Was that because the way we manage things? Was it because the way we design, or because the way we we look at the design of the systems or whatever? So those it's not that straightforward. It's not like, okay, guys, we gotta orient ourselves to a new environment and new system, and then we suddenly have a new orientations. No, it really needs a process. and that is very difficult. And even you install the process, how are you gonna know that you really take advantage of the process? And this is called, balanced scorecard, performance measurement systems, and what gets measured gets done. But what are you gonna do? How are you gonna measure? It's not that straightforward, right? So again, it's a challenge. Complexities of organizations is always a challenge, and sometimes only those people who work on the line that really benefit, and the people on the top, if you do not have a good cultures, and people on the top will not be able to understand what's happening. So control the improvement of processes and procedures are therefore very important. And in order to have that common orientation, exploration and exploitative, you need to have common language that everybody shares some similar goals and cultures. Problem solving must be instilled as a part of your cultures and daily practices. And for instance, if there is something breaking down, if you cut, for instance, if you the lean management, right? We do want to have the a whole bunch of inventories and working processes, and so everything is very lean. And if something goes on in the production and breaking and something break down, and then we have the silence, and etc., you have to really stop and everybody pull get-togethers and solve the problem immediately. And so by solving that problem, we find new understanding. Oh, okay, well, maybe because of this, maybe the way we design a product, maybe the manufacturability is not there, or maybe supporting is not there, maybe we do not put things into order, or maybe other things. So all these issues will change the orientation when we unfreeze all these fixated orientations. Things start to change, meaning we are able to better exploit our resources, and therefore return on assets comes about. So what is return on asset? Well, first of all, you got to tell me where is your return, and that is explorative. And then second, you got to tell me how you gonna return it. Generate higher return, right? Exploitation. So this is really not much difference between your balance sheet, right? Your liabilities, asset liabilities, and all these equities, and your profit and loss statements and cash flow management is all the same. And so if you do something here, you got to reflect it on that financial domain, right? And the financial domains can also be innovatively looking at it, systematically looking at it at a different orientation. That is what financial innovation is. It gets started, right? The dialogue and things like that. So it is very, very important that we focus on ambidextrous organizations development in view of the exploitations competency, and also the explorative competencies. And these explorative competencies allow us to find out, generate more opportunity. And it's not easy, straightforward to identify opportunities. Every time when we ask the companies to look into SWOT SWOT analysis, everybody is start to, well, this is opportunity, that is a threat, and somebody say no, that is the opportunity, that is not a threat, and somebody said no, this is not opportunity, this is strength. And so what is going on? And well, this is still good. I mean, they have a lot of experience. What about students? They just simply put a little bit of SW, a little bit W, a little bit of O, and a little bit of T, and then nothing happened. And without realizing that all this SWOT is still being constrained within your standard score, and you're still working on a single loop learning that is not even translating into double loop learning. So you are not really exploiting it. You are not really exploring it. Without the proper exploration, how are you going to exploit? Without your capability to exploit, how dare you go and exploit? So this exploration and exploitation are really feeding each other, right? So we need the efficiency to feed the effectiveness. We need the effectiveness to motivate the efficiency. So this SW and OTs are actually interacting each other. And it's just like the quantum, right? Quantum spin, right? The one side tells the other side, right? And they're interacting with each other. This is called quantum entanglement. okay, and quantum mechanics, quantum entanglement. So we really need this issue in order to help us, understand these and develop these ambidextrous organizations. And again, supporting by the proper context, in view of the proper context, and supporting by the HR, human resource management, we should be able to build those competencies and things like that. And again, just want to remind you that because of this large-scale impact on organization in terms of competency development, in terms of competitive strategy utilization, and in terms of this innovations, really, it is very important that we need to induce, a diffuse fast, right? All these orientations. If we change the orientation, like Lewin's change, right? Lewin's change model, the unfreeze. Once you unfreeze it, how fast you're going to diffuse into the move, into the change? That is not the straightforward. And there is one theory, particularly, I want to draw your attention, is the perceived theory of perceived attributes, and the state that the potential adapter judge whether innovations or unfreezing things that you really need to change based on the following perceptions, such as one of them is, can I try it on it? Can I observe on it? Can I, do they have, do the change has relative advantages compared with the traditional status quo? And what about is it simple enough, and is it compatible to what I have been doing? And maybe, compatible doesn't mean that you got to do the same thing. It could be behaviorally the same, right? All these are issues. The theory of perceived attributes holds that the innovation will experience an increased rate of diffusions if the potential adopters or our employees or customers can perceive like what I have just shared with you. All those things, and the other thing is that in terms of this innovation, if you look into this on a vertical axis, the impact on the market, or high and low, and also the innovations induced by some technological newness, such as IoT, cloud system, blockchain, and maybe higher level machine learning. And so we have technology newness in terms of low and high. And so what we're trying to do is that we're trying to exploit the horizontal technological innovation means to help us reach out to the market, right? And so we need ideation, technological ideations to the market, and this is what innovation is all about. There is this input, which is called the technology, and there is this output, which is called this market, and then we want to see the productivity, which is the output divided by input. And so so that is what we want to do, right? And so this is so this 2D low high input output and or technologies market, and this is where ideations to market. All these are innovations idea in a simple 2x2 matrices. You will see that something is low in technologies and your impact on the market is low, then is incremental innovation. But if your innovation is very huge, but you are a little bit of impact, that is some radical. But if you are able to reach out to a big market through your extremely active innovation, technological innovation, so we're talking about you're able to disrupt the whole market, disrupt the whole world. So we call disruptive innovation. Otherwise, if you are able to do increment slowly, step by step on your technologies and influence a little bit more influence, continue to influence the market again and again, then we call sustaining innovation. So we have this incremental innovations, and we have the sustaining innovation, we have the radical innovation, and we have the disruptive innovation, right? And that's and this is how we can. So disruptive in incremental sustaining innovation is like incremental, as I have already told you that the innovation degree is low, and so that you can step by step is a gradual process, right? So if you look into mathematical curve, it's more of a gradual to saturation, right, to equilibrium, okay, but if you are able to disrupt using a technological quantum leap, then and at a higher impact. So there is this zoom, right, sudden crossing over to meet the demands of the customer. And and again, another thing is that what is each part of this, what I've just told you in terms of this technological degree of newness and the impact degree on the market, and each of the zones or blocks are sometimes relative to the time. For example, radical today, well, we are not seeing IoTs. We make a lot of effort. Scientists make a lot of effort on IoT and artificial intelligence, but we are not really seeing a huge impact on the market, and that is because it is at the starting point. And so, radical today could gradually becoming disruptive in a very short near future. And we have seen so many things, right? We have seen before we are using these cold weathers out there as a refrigeration, and now slowly we are using because of the Carnot cycles and these thermodynamic Carnot cycles, and we are seeing refrigeration, we're seeing air conditioning, right? Things, we're transforming the whole world, we're disrupting the world, we're disrupting the market, right? Things like that. So the radical today will definitely leading to the radical innovation, because radical innovation is so different from what people are used to. It does affect some, as I told you, in the change, right? Lewin's change is something that you want to, from the current state to the future state, and you want to move with some significant ideas of radical innovation. And of course, you're going to have some significant resistance, right? Somebody will support it, but the supporting may be too little, and the more are resisting it, or whatever, maybe due to insufficient income, insufficient funds, so that I dare not to invest more money, so that please hold on. So this guy is dragged it. Well, they still like it, but they drag it, right? The investments, why they drag it, and because too many people are making it slow, so the investment is not active, and so that the change is slow, right? So from a business perspective, it's not like people particularly want to resist it. Sometimes resist for an economical reason. It's so it is up to the government, right? We call the diamonds model. Professors Michael Porter's diamonds in the Harvard Business School talk about the competitiveness, the competitive advantage of the nations or industries of the nation. Really, another apart from the diamonds factors of this, factors, conditions, and the market conditions and the strategy and all these supporting industries. Another thing is the chance. The opportunities that rises right time, and also most important is the government. So the government really need to support to drive this economic development, right? The Singapore government drive the economic development in a holistic manner. They promote, the accelerate, and smooth out the Lewin's change, right? Lewin's change from unfreezing to change. So the policies can help unfreeze, right? Well, suddenly I'm probably able to do that because the government is supporting something, and I'm not really need to invest a lot of money. So you unfreeze, right? So something, so really to unfreeze something, it really is a systemic issue. It's a system dynamics issue. It's a complexity issue, right? So because radical innovation is so different from what people are used to, it does usually face significant resistance. But again, all these are challenge resolvable. And if you look from a stream, upstream, downstream perspective or innovations, we can separate into three categories. One of them is this experience category. That is where innovations are touching the, are more interacting with the customers, are more interacting, engaging with the customers. So we're talking about service innovation, channel innovations, brand innovations, customer engagement innovation. And then there is this offering that customers receive our product and service. So we're talking about offering innovation to the product innovation, product performance innovation, product characteristic, product system. And then before we do that, we need competency, right? We need the competency. So I have already shared a lot on the competency. So we're talking about configurations, innovation. So we talk about profit model, we talk about network model, we talk about structure model, we talk about the process, innovation process model. So all these configuration innovations moving into the offering that are allowed to enrich and create the active engagements and experience of the customer. All this integrating together of all these competencies in configurations domain, in offering domains, and experience domain. That is what competitive strategy is all about. And so this is very important, that we have to have a strategic viewpoint on our innovations competency, and so that being competitive strategy means we are continuously able to be able to to have a revenue earning capabilities and in the market. So that is what competitive strategies are about. And if you want to gain competitive advantage, that means that your earning capabilities it's probably much better than everybody else every other's provider in the industry, right? I mean, comparatively speaking, you have the advantage, right? So these are very important. All these configuration, offering, and experience domains are very, 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 very important. And in fact, in this configuration, in layman terms, we call business model. In the layman terms, offering, we call the product. And in the layman's terms, experience, we call marketing. So it's really nothing but business model innovations, product innovations, and marketing innovation, right? Things like that. Okay, the left-hand side of the framework most internally focused, and they're a bit further from the experience, but not necessarily further away from customer, but with the IoT sensors, then the distance a bit closer. Okay, and the right, as you move towards the right side to these offering and experiences, there the types becomes increasingly apparently more obvious to the customers. Okay, so there are a lot of things happening, so all these different types of processes, technological innovations, you can look into that. In terms of this competency, and another things I would like to stress upon is this competencies, especially in this digital era. So we need to build this induction and deductions competencies. I regularly talk about in business research methodologies domains that research is about establish the linkage, continuous linkage between the theory and the data. So, and in fact, if you look into the world, we have two types of world. One is the data world, things that we see, things that we hear, things that we touch, things that we feel, things like that, and hear and things whatever, or eat, right? But there is and whatever we do on a data realm, there is automatically another twin that is called the theoretical realm. So we actually when we say we see, we actually see with a concept. When we say we hear, we actually hear with a concept. When we say we eat, and the delicious or not really depends on our concept. And so there is a theoretical and data's connection between each others, right? So this this understanding is that if you look into this technological innovation and competency, if we have a lot of literature's review, if we have a lot of innovations knowledge, and we are kind of using all these innovations to help us get some information, and then so that we can make decisions, and these are sort of utilizing existing knowledge to help us optimize our decisions making, and these are very much deductive in deduction in the natures, and these are the optimization is the first generations of competency, digital innovations competency, and then once we move from optimizations to be, because the worlds are very much quite uncertain, and so we slowly build from optimizations that is very deterministic in constraints and in our objective, and now slowly get a little bit more fuzzy. So we have fuzzy control systems, and we have expert systems coming into the picture. All these are deduction in nature. And then slowly we know that the data is big data, so we have to really explore, being more ambidexterous, explore for the patterns, what's happening in the society, what's happening in our business, and slowly we are able to look at the environments and engage with machine learning and deep learning and things like that. So that we are starting to reach out to this third generation of the digital competencies and to support our innovation. And then lastly, we are coming into the fourth generations, which is combine induction and deduction to skillfully use those competencies. And you can see that a lot of the data's availability is everywhere nowadays. We can connect all kind of sensors. If you see the Shanghai auto shows, and you're suddenly seeing, wow, what happened? They are transforming the whole electric car. We thought Tesla is going to win, and suddenly and Apple is going to win, and suddenly we're seeing, oh my God, they are also accelerating so fast. So because of what? Because of this competency. Because of this induction deductions competency, especially through sensors, especially through programming, things become flexible. I mean, programming is not like in physical investments. You need to build these things and then install it, and then you depreciations based on the financial requirement, and slowly, return on investment, right? But this computer programming, the cost is almost zero, and computer programming can modify the all these instructions very easily. So you can do a lot of quick design on this. So therefore, do not think that you have the technologies and you're gonna win. No, it is so agile, so flexible, right? And people can just suddenly win like that because of computer programming. And so that's the business ecosystem is all about. And in another sessions, I will explain on it. And this and therefore computer sensors like airplanes, the big airplanes on the we can sense the temperatures, pressures, and adjust through this pneumatics and electronic control system and things like that. So again, this artificial intelligence and inductions are impacting nowadays across all. I talk about the impact on the market and the technology. So now these markets are everywhere. We have energies markets, we have the industry distributions market, we have the urban market, we have the lifestyle market, we have the finance and public market, we have the healthcare market. And then I have shown you that the technologies, there are different levels. We have these sensory levels, we have communications level, we have the applications levels, we have this all this deduction inductions level. And so this the role of if you plot the technology, the role of artificial intelligence in terms of the way how they create the value, how they replace the labels, and how they enhance these capabilities, and how they assist the work procedures in the companies or in the processes, and then you match up all these different requirement of technologies across all this impact on this market, different energy market, lifestyle market, whatever, and these different layers of technologies like the value creations, replacements, or labels, or whatever. And then you can see that a lot of things you can do. So you match the x and y axis, x and y axis. There are a lot of things you can do. You can look into, for instance, in this, you can look into the crowd manufacturing. You look into this automated transactions in the finance and public areas in new value creation, or you can look into label replacements of the financial and public area in terms of robot assistance as an assistance, or you can look into credit check because of your induction deductions capability. You can look into some risk assessments and things like that. So it is very, very easy. And so we can easily really innovate and improve our business model in the different areas of the business model, such as in value propositions. We can do a lot of innovations on that, and we can do even how we create the values for the product, and in terms of product, service, experience to our customers. As just told you, share with you in terms of configurations, offers, and experiments. You can do a lot of innovations on that too, and then you can also how you're going to capture the value through what kind of asset and liability balance and new equities and crowdsourcing, and you can do a lot of things too, and the value networking, share economies, and the business ecosystem. So a lot of business model innovations, the 4V, right? Value propositions, value captures, and all these value creations and value network, and you can do a lot of innovation. So again, all this when you look into the market, all the wave of innovation is so fast that it's going to propagate all the. It's like a tsunami, right? It's like a wave. Is whether today or not or in the future, it's all kind of market. Urban market, lifestyles market, agricultural market, tourism's market. It's gonna the wave of the disruption is going to strip through all this, right? It's for sure, and we have seen the technology sweeping through from the web, make it virtual, and then we and then slowly from the web, and people start to add on with the search, make it discoverable, and then slowly Facebook's come into the picture, social media make it shareable, and then slowly we want to be more mobile everywhere. We want to be able to reach out to all these web and searchings and social systems, mobile, make it responsive, and then suddenly we instead of typing, we want to use the voice activator, so the voice make it conversational, and so you can see within 20 years, this web search, social, mobile, and voice activation disruption of technology has disrupted the world tremendously, right? So these are you can see it's going to be impacting every way, especially with this IoT, Internet of Things, that we can now connect the physical world to the virtual world. And in fact, virtual is just a representations of the physical world where we can monitor and see from the big picture, because physical world we have to go and drive around and see what happened. But if we have the sensor, we can put it into a cyber system, and so that we can monitor, what happened to this part of the world, what happened to that part of the world, and then we can do a lot of adjustment, right? So we can do demand scale, we can do the production optimization and zoom into this factory. We can do the productions optimization, or we can zoom out to across the world, across the regions of world, in terms of dynamic scheduling of how we're going to sense from one area to another area, or we can look into how we can control the entire our entire businesses, right, through artificial intelligence, right, and so we can make really a lot of adjustment and things like that. So again, because of all these transformations, suddenly we are moving away from standalone system to same system but multi-site, multi-location system, and connecting each other, right, through intranet and things like that. We all used to it, right? 1990s, right, when we work in the companies, right, and we all know that. And then slowly we are talking about different systems can be connected together and talking in this crowd environment, and then we are moving into system symbiosis. Everybody is like synergized into each other's and seamlessly, right? We are business ecosystems, right? We are starting to see this happening. A lot more details that we have to, a lot more efforts that need to be get into the detail, because even though we have food applications O2O, and we're seeing the riders being part of it, we're seeing the restaurants being part of it, we are seeing the customers involving actively on it, we are seeing the host actively designing it, but then we are still not seeing the symbiosis and the transparent visualizations of these data, right? So a lot more detail and artificial intelligence incorporations that we need to get in, especially with this crowd and blockchain transparencies will be more and more accessible, and so we can reach out to transform the whole industries, not only on this factory side, but also on the logistics side and customer experience side, and even to turn the whole cities to be a smart city and smart warehousing, right? We're already seeing Amazon.coms to turn into a smart, gradually into a smart warehousings, and a lot of automated robots and things like that. So, and I have shown you all these innovations across the in business models to product offerings to and then slowly to marketing and even in the marketing experience, we the ski posts. Usually we use the ski posts for winter exercising, so winter experiences and snow experiences, and then slowly now they can they turn the ski posts into off-season ski training, and so they can you can we call it Nordic walking, and so it is not only training for this winters in preparations for winter, but actually every day you do an exercise and things like that. So it is very good. So really it is all about experience. So instead of product driven, instead of service driven, why don't we go into experience driven? Let the customer experience it, and when they have experience, then they can transform and transcend their aspiration and realize their aspiration. And the configurations innovation is about integrating all these technologies. So we have one term called architectural innovations, which is a concept by a Harvard Business School professors Rebecca Henderson and Dean Kim Clark back in 1990s. They released nothing but reconfigure using a set of existing innovation and technologies and combine them together because all the technology has been well proven. And so, but by combining them, we create a new competencies, right? So competency is through recombination, okay, not necessarily creating new one. You can recombine everything and put into a new flexible system. Right? We call the flexible manufacturing system. It's a similar concept, but you can transcend the flexible manufacturing systems to be more artificial intelligence. So these are very important. And by combining everything through the Internet of Things and sensors and communications, then we certainly is creating a network computer system, or we call it a networked, digitally enriched business ecosystem, and that will really realize the system biases to to reach out to help us really improve the returns on asset, right? And this asset is not an individual standalone asset or a couple of factories connecting together, right? Like multinational companies. We are talking about a business ecosystem asset. So it's a collective asset of all kind of different players together. So our RA becomes very powerful, and because RA is very powerful, that means the cell is very powerful. Okay, so all these data, big data and smart industry is all about, and so therefore we are moving into industry 4.0 and establish the 4.0. But again, we should not just realize the 4.0. We should reach out to more people-oriented, people-centric, ecological-oriented, sustainability. And so this social innovation is very important. Without the social innovation, we will start in industry 4.0. We need to reach out to industry 5.0. So social innovations are very to meet the social needs are very important, and to give the people's more to allow them to achieve what they want, and don't just simply focus on automation and delete and eliminate all those people. We need to embrace them. We need to give them job. We need to give them life. We need to give them motivation. And otherwise, what happened? The whole world is being robot, right? So we need to, and even the robots want to be like humans in the industry 5.0. Right, so we need to provide a lot of innovations that can influence the quality of life, such as clean waters. We can create some innovative products that that can extract the water from the humanities, and we can also put connect this young students to the old elder peoples, and so that so the elder people will not be lonely, and they can also guide these young people in terms of their homeworks and things like that, and young students can get their grades up, and the elder people will get more happy, right? So this social innovations services are very very important. So in conclusions, really, we should establish a more symbiotic and social oriented, ecologically sustainability oriented industry 5.0 in the sense of human cyber physical system. Okay, these are very very important, and this is what my sharing today, and I hope that you get experiences in terms of the in terms of the ambidexterity competency and this innovations competency, and in this industry 4.0 and 5.0, and also how you can orchestrate and integrate them through different types of unfreezing concepts to achieve good ROAs and sales, and that means you are able to turn these competencies to this competitive advantages or value advantages to the customer. So you are utilizing the competencies to this competitive strategy, and competency is not just about one area, it is really a host of integrated area. And so these short presentations give you a very big picture on the configurations of competency needed in today's society.